What if I told you your Lexus could hit 500,000 miles without a single major repair? Sounds crazy, right? But it's not. People have done it, and it isn't luck. It's how the car is treated from day one. Most vehicles don't fail suddenly. They wear down slowly from the things owners ignore. So if you want your Lexus to last longer than almost anything else on the road, here's how you actually do it. Number 15, change your engine oil before it breaks down. If Lexus engines are known for reliability, why do I still see some of them wearing out early? From my experience, it almost always comes back to oil changes. I've seen perfectly good Lexus engines develop excessive wear simply because oil changes were delayed too often. Nothing dramatic at first. The engine still runs, still feels smooth, but internally, wear starts building up. Oil isn't just lubrication. It cools, cleans, and protects internal components. When it breaks down, it loses that protection. I recommend changing oil every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, even if the manual says longer. If you do short trips often, stay closer to 5,000. I've seen engines that followed this consistently run incredibly smooth, even past 300,000 miles. Oil protects the engine, but it doesn't protect everything else. Number 14, don't trust lifetime transmission fluid. If transmission fluid is labeled lifetime, why do I still see transmissions fail after 150,000 miles? Because lifetime usually means the warranty period, not the actual life of the car. I've seen Lexus transmissions that were never serviced start developing rough shifts and delayed engagement much earlier than expected. Transmission fluid breaks down over time. It carries heat, pressure, and microscopic wear particles. I recommend a simple drain and fill every 40,000 to 60,000 miles. Not a flush, just a controlled replacement using the correct Lexus fluid. From what I've seen, cars that get regular fluid service shift smoother and last significantly longer. Now, while the transmission handles power, heat is controlled somewhere else. Number 13, coolant. Neglect leads to expensive failures. If coolant lasts for years, why do I still see overheating issues on well-maintained Lexus cars? Because people wait too long. I've seen water pumps fail and radiators corrode, not from abuse, but from old coolant that turned acidic. Coolant doesn't just cool, it protects the entire system. When it breaks down, it starts damaging seals, gaskets, and metal components from the inside. Replace coolant every 50,000 miles or 5 years. And if it ever looks dirty or low, don't ignore it. Cooling system repairs are expensive. Preventing them is not. And once temperature is managed, safety systems come into focus. Number 12, brake fluid isn't optional maintenance. If your brakes feel fine, why should you even think about brake fluid? Because I've seen what happens when it's ignored. Brake fluid absorbs moisture over time, even in sealed systems. That moisture leads to corrosion inside brake lines and components. There's no warning light for this. It just builds slowly until braking performance starts to drop. I recommend replacing brake fluid every 2 to 3 years. It's one of the simplest ways to protect your entire braking system. Now let's shift from fluids to something electrical that gets overlooked. Number 11, your battery and terminals can fool you. If your car suddenly won't start, is it always a dead battery? The short answer is no. A lot of the time, it's corrosion on the terminals. I've seen people replace perfectly good batteries when the real issue was just poor electrical contact. That white or bluish buildup blocks power flow. The fix is simple. Check your battery twice a year and clean the terminals if needed. It takes a few minutes, but it can save you from being stranded. These first few habits are what I've consistently seen in Lexus cars that make it past 300,000 miles. But we're just getting started. Next, I'll walk you through the components most people completely overlook, the ones that quietly decide whether your car makes it to 500,000 miles or not. Number 10. Air filters control how your engine breathes. If something as simple as an air filter is so cheap, why have I seen it affect engine performance so much? From my experience, it gets ignored more than it should. A clogged air filter restricts airflow, and when that happens, the engine has to work harder just to maintain normal operation. Over time, that leads to poor fuel efficiency and unnecessary strain. I've worked on cars where the owner complained about sluggish performance, and the issue wasn't complex at all. It was just a heavily clogged filter. I usually tell people to check it every 12,000 to 15,000 miles and replace it at least once a year. It's quick, inexpensive, and it keeps the engine breathing the way it was designed to. Now, once airflow is restricted, something else starts happening inside the engine that most people never notice right away. Number 9, carbon buildup doesn't show up immediately. If your Lexus still feels smooth, how can carbon buildup already be affecting it? Because it builds gradually. I've seen engines that ran perfectly fine on the surface, but over time, they lost responsiveness and efficiency. Nothing sudden, just a slow change that most drivers adapt to. This is especially common in modern engines where deposits form on intake components. You don't feel it immediately, but it's there. Regular oil changes, occasional longer drives, and proper fuel quality all help reduce this buildup. Ignore it, and you won't notice the loss right away. But over time, it adds up. That slow loss of efficiency often gets blamed on age, but in many cases, it's actually tied to how well ignition components are maintained. Number 8, spark plugs need precision, not guesswork. If spark plugs last a long time, why have I still seen them cause issues in otherwise healthy engines? Because they're either replaced too late or replaced incorrectly. From what I've seen, using the wrong type of spark plug can affect how the engine runs more than people expect. I've come across cars with rough idle and misfires, and the root cause was simply the wrong plugs being installed. Stick with OEM spec plugs and replace them around 100,000 miles or earlier if your engine requires it. And if the car is older, I usually recommend checking them even if the mileage is low. I've seen plugs seize in place over time, turning a simple job into a much bigger one later. Once the ignition is working properly, the next weak point I often see isn't inside the engine at all. It's a simple external component that affects multiple systems at once. If you're finding this helpful, a quick like or subscribe lets me know you want more practical maintenance insights like this. Number 7, the Serpentine belt holds more together than you think. If it's just a belt, why have I seen its failure shut down an entire car? Because it connects multiple systems. When this belt fails, you're not just losing one function, you can lose charging, cooling support, and steering assistance all at once. I've seen situations where everything was working fine one moment, and then suddenly, multiple systems stopped because of this single part. That's why I always suggest inspecting it regularly and replacing it somewhere between 80,000 to 100,000 miles, depending on where. It's a simple part, but ignoring it can leave you stranded. And when you start looking at how one component can affect multiple systems, it becomes clear why drivetrain components also need attention, even if everything feels normal from the driver's seat. Number 6, differential and AWD systems wear quietly. If your Lexus drives smoothly, how can drivetrain components already be wearing out because you don't feel it happening? I've worked on vehicles where the differential fluid had clearly degraded, but there were no obvious symptoms yet. That's what makes this easy to ignore. Everything feels fine until wear has already progressed. Changing differential and transfer case fluid every 30,000 to 60,000 miles helps prevent that kind of hidden damage. It's one of those things that doesn't seem urgent, but makes a big difference over time. From what I've seen, these are the areas where most long-term wear starts quietly, without obvious warning. And if you stay ahead of them, your Lexus doesn't just last longer, it stays consistent. Moving on, I'll walk you through the habits and decisions that separate cars that stop early from the ones that keep going past 500,000 miles. Number 5, rust can end a car before the engine does. If Lexus engines are built to last hundreds of thousands of miles, why do some cars still get scrapped much earlier? From what I've seen, it's often not the engine, it's rust. I've come across vehicles where the engine and transmission were still running strong, but the underbody, suspension mounts, or brake lines had deteriorated to the point where repairs didn't make sense anymore. And the frustrating part is, most of it could have been slowed down. If you live in an area with rain, humidity, or road salt, regular underbody cleaning makes a huge difference. Even something as simple as rinsing the underside during washes helps reduce long-term corrosion. It doesn't feel urgent when the car is new, but over time, it becomes one of the deciding factors in how long the car survives. What makes rust tricky is that it works in the background, and by the time you notice it, it's already advanced, which is exactly why driving habits end up playing a bigger role than most people expect. Number 4, how you drive shapes how your car ages. If two identical Lexus cars are maintained the same way, why does one last significantly longer? From what I've seen, it comes down to how they're driven. Aggressive acceleration, hard braking, and constant short trips all increase stress across the entire car, not just the engine. I've seen high-mileage Lexus vehicles that were driven smoothly and consistently, and they aged far better than others with similar maintenance records. Driving gently during cold starts, avoiding unnecessary strain, and maintaining smooth inputs all reduce wear over time. It doesn't mean driving slowly, it means driving with awareness. And once you start paying attention to how the car is driven, something else becomes clear. Some of the most damaging habits don't feel harmful at all. Number 3, short trips create long-term wear. If short drives feel easier on your car, why have I seen them cause more wear over time? Because the engine never fully warms up. I've worked on cars that were used mostly for short trips, and over time, they showed more internal buildup and wear than cars that were driven longer distances regularly. When the engine doesn't reach proper operating temperature, moisture and fuel residue don't fully burn off, and that slowly affects engine health. It's not about avoiding short trips completely, but balancing them out. Occasionally, driving longer distances allows the engine to stabilize and operate the way it was designed to. It's a small adjustment, but it makes a noticeable difference over time. And while some habits cause wear gradually, others show up more clearly, but still get ignored more often than they should. Number 2, warning signs are meant to be early, not urgent. If your Lexus still drives fine, why should a warning light matter right away? Because I've seen how quickly small issues turn into bigger ones when ignored. A light on the dashboard usually means something is out of range, not necessarily broken yet, but no longer operating as intended. I've seen simple fixes turn into expensive repairs just because they were delayed too long. Scanning codes early, checking for leaks, and addressing small issues immediately keeps them from escalating. Most major repairs don't start big, they start small and go unnoticed. And when you step back and look at everything we covered, there's one pattern that explains why some Lexus cars keep going and others don't. Number 1, longevity comes down to consistency. If there's no single upgrade that makes a car last 500,000 miles, what actually determines whether it gets there? From everything I've seen, it's consistency. The cars that last aren't treated differently because they're special. They become special because they're treated differently. Small maintenance gets done on time, minor issues are addressed early. Nothing is left to stack up. That's the difference. Not luck, not chance, just consistent care over time. If you follow these habits, your Lexus doesn't have to be something you replace every few years. It can be something that stays with you for decades. I've seen it happen again and again. Now I want to hear from you. How many miles are on your Lexus right now? Are you aiming for 300,000 or pushing for 500,000? Drop a comment and share your experience. And if you want more real-world advice that actually helps you save money and extend your car's life, check out the next video on your screen and subscribe.